Welcome to Preppy and Pout podcast, a little prep and a little pout. I'm Jamie. We're diving into episode 1 today.
And I am Jason. Welcome to the Preppy and Pout podcast. All right, so episode 1, right? Just to help our listeners understand, what is Preppy and Pout? When your listeners hear or say Preppy and Pout, what do you want them to see?
So I wanted something that was catchy, right? I believe everything has to have a catchy name, and there was just something irking at me, tagging me every day. I wake up, driving, thought process, everything I was thinking was I could not get away from the saying Preppy and Pout. And a lot to unpack, right? But just to give a very high level, I was ready to dive into something that was meaningful to me, that was relatable to people that I've talked to, a lot of women I've talked to, men I talked to, co-workers, friends, family. It's all that we are all dealing with something, right? Whether my something is your something, everyone is dealing with something, but how can we unpack that in one place? It could be a good something, a bad something. So what was a tangible term that could capture both of that? So for me, preppy was like, okay, if I go out for nice drinks, or I buy a new cup, or I buy some new tennis shoes that are good, a new piece of workout equipment, that to me is preppy, right? That's something that's good. It's fun. I treated myself. I want to talk about it. I want to share it. So on that side of the platform, let's share this restaurant where we had these amazing drinks. Let's share our new workout plan and piece of equipment that we got. Right. But then, I want to pout. I'm a pouter.
Oh boy.
So I like to pout. Careful. Because I view the glass as half full the majority of the time, but there are times where I feel like I do want to pout, and I want a platform where I can pout. And I'm not saying to call anyone out, but a situation that I may be going through that can be a crazy medical situation. I want to unpack that and talk about that. But I also want to talk about, let me pout about the color of my coffee was wrong today at Starbucks. So the spectrum is very vast, but I want to merge those two together. I want to merge some prep and some pout.
So, and I get that, right? I understand that. We've talked a little bit about it, and obviously we'll get into the genesis of the idea when we were sitting down at brunch and innovating and having a conversation. But 100% transparency, right? You came up with the name, and then just the concept of it, and as the ideas took flight, right? Mm-hmm. It was like, we could really do this. And I think ultimately it came down to, like you said, there's some things that's going on that we do want to bring light to and shed light on, because there's other people that are dealing with those same situations, right? But honestly, just Preppy and Pout, the way you think about it, it's something that you can do with every single day. Like you said, the color of your coffee at Starbucks, right? The energy that maybe that person
barista.
The barista has is your first coffee of the day, right? So you're not on that level, right? They're already preppy.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
They see your car pulling in.
Oh, yeah.
They're preppy. They're ready. Why? Because that's their job.
100%. So what I would love to invent for myself is a sticker to put on the front of my car.
Well,
and I want the sticker to stay preppy. That means, okay, girl, like, let's talk. Yes, you can ask me what my plans are today and if I'm going to work. But if it says pout, like, maybe like, I know it's their job, and they gotta be overzealous with their conversation and asking how I'm doing and what my kids are doing for the summer. And sometimes when they ask me questions, I don't even have an answer to. I really want to like roll my window up, like,
you're looking at the color of the coffee.
Just give me my coffee.
And you're judging that person.
Yeah,
by the color of your coffee.
But it should be universal. Even if it's not preppy or pout, like a green sticker that says preppy means like, all right, like, this customer's open to a little more conversation
with this peasant.
But if I have a red sticker that says pout, like, let me hold back asking them their life choices for the day, and let me just give them their coffee and send them on their way. That would be my life goal right there.
Yeah, listen, I understand it, right? I understand the concept of it, and we've talked about this for a little bit, and I think the to sum it all up is basically just say that it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah.
Like it's okay to let things bother you. Doesn't mean you have to, full road rage or fully take off on somebody, but it is okay to express the way you feel about certain things. I think that's the big piece to it, right? Is that there's a lot of people out there in the community, out in the world that needs to feel comfortable, not tearing somebody's day down just to make yourself feel better, but to be able to say what's on your mind and what you're feeling,
Right.
and not feel like you're going to be attacked for doing so, because
100%. And on the flip
That's a
side
real
to
thing.
that, living by that motto that everybody's going through something, right?
100%.
And just like my pal, I am a good driver, but I can be a little more on the aggressive side of driving compared to you, where
Careful.
somebody can be sitting in
Easy.
front of you and not going, and
Let's
you're
just
just
relax,
like,
see,
it's
I'm
okay.
about to-
Where I
about to
want to
pout. I'm about to
like,
pout.
I got places to go. Let's
Yeah.
go. But to your point, right? We don't know what that person is going through. They could have just lost their
100%.
job. They went to pick up their kids and their baby mama wasn't letting them pick up their son that day. And it just threw them in a whirlwind and
100%.
they missed the light. And here we are beeping at them, and that could be their last straw.
Yep.
So, I mean, I know you unplugged the horn in your car. So
Well,
when I
don't
drive
tell
your car,
everybody.
it can't even beep if I
unplug
want
the
to.
horn. It wasn't working correctly. But we don't need to even get into that.
That
It's-
yes, we don't need to get into that.
Talk
That
about
can
my
be
horn.
episode 27.
Whatever.
But that is a pout, right? I
Yes.
mean, that can be
Legitimate.
someone else's pout
Yes,
that they're having
legitimate.
a bad day, and my
Right.
pout is very minute compared to theirs, or I just want them to freaking turn left because I have places to go.
Right. Well, let's just say pouts are relative,
Yeah, 100%.
right? So
Every pout matters.
I wouldn't say 100%. I wouldn't say that yours is minute. It's just at that time it wasn't for you. At that time it was the most important thing in your mind space that you were ready to express and pout. And
Right.
that's where this came from.
So that's where it came from. Very minute to very not catastrophic, but very big life events, right?
Right.
Where a big preppy life event could be we built and bought our first home. That to me is a preppy win, right?
Right.
That is something that I didn't foresee in the future when we did it, but we were able, by the grace of God and hard work, able to build and buy our own home. And then here we are
Here we are.
talking about it.
There's some pout when it comes to owning a home too, though.
Oh, yeah. There is.
Almost everything that has a prep has a pout to it.
100%.
But
Agreed.
does everything that has a pout have a prep to it? Is that just as easy?
I mean, that's a little too, like-
It should go both ways, though. Technically, it should go both ways.
I guess it could, but that seems like a little too,
Careful.
being a little
listening.
too optimistic. If
Can you be too optimistic?
you have
Well,
bad coffee, you have bad coffee.
Okay.
There's not really like,
But you was able to get to your coffee
You see,
destination without
yeah.
getting into a car accident.
that's great, but it still does not change the fact that my coffee is bad.
Right. Doesn't mean you can't fix the coffee, though.
Yeah, you can always doctor it up, but if I
Or
paid
you could take your-
$9.44, I don't expect to have to go to work and find some creamer and sugar in some random drawer in the kitchen to doctor up my coffee.
I understand that. I mean, you could take your pouting self inside and tell them to fix it. Something
No,
else that
I
you-
don't do that.
that you-
No,
okay,
no.
hold up.
I
Wait a
haven't done
minute.
that.
Wait, okay, hold up. So
If I
you-
get a bad
you-
coffee, I'm gonna sit with that bad coffee and just pout about it. But I will not go into Starbucks and be like, can you remake this for me? No, that's not me.
So okay, so that's
This
so,
turned into a coffee podcast episode. We're gonna name
well,
this
no.
coffee.
Okay, we're not going to name it coffee. we're going to stick with what we got. But this is just a subject that's come up right now because I'm feeling really preppy about the subject, and I feel like you're pouting about it. But why not fix it?
I would rather fix it myself, or I'll muscle drinking a coffee just because the end goal is to just get enough charge to get my day going. And then maybe around 2
got you.
or 3 p.m. when that crash happens, then
Okay, all right.
go get my round 2 of
That
caffeine.
was one example of a preppy and pout situation.
There we go. That's our coffee talk.
So another one is going to bars and going to, so the place that we had brunch at when we were having this business meeting.
Our vision.
Yes, our vision was our first time there.
Yes.
You've seen it on social media, and you want to go in and try it out. And there was a lot of stuff that was on your mind.
Yes.
You had a lot of stuff that was heavy on your mind that had been there for a while, and you didn't get a chance to express it until that day. So it was really like a full blown conversation that we had where we took a deep dive into our feelings. You want to talk about a little bit of that? Or?
Yeah, I'm going to scratch the surface. I don't know how many layers to peel back, because even just starting that conversation was about an hour and a half to peel back those layers. So,
100%.
but just to give a overview of that, went to a brunch spot, and speaking as a woman for myself, not anyone else, not a man, but I feel like as a woman, you can have something on your mind. It's reoccurring. You may sit with it for a little bit, right? Like, should I bring this up? Should I not? Even if it's as light as, hey, husband, didn't take the trash out today. Do I want to bring that up and go over that, right? Yes or no. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. But this thought was just persistent, like, and hard persistent. Just like they say, you know when you know that you need to talk about something. And it was just this persistent feeling that when I woke up, when I took a shower, when I was at my job, when we were at brunch, and it just became so overwhelming to talk about, like, the situation that was going on. And it was a different business venture that we were looking into, and I just had a lot to say about that business venture. And this was what was weighing heavy on my mind, was an outlet, something that we can truly build together, right? And we enjoy so much at our age, having 4 kids and pushing the 40 line limit on
40
going out.
line limit.
40
I like how
line
you
limit.
was that like a football plug? Like, what was that?
The 40 yard dash. We're almost there. We're almost 40 years old. So I feel like, why not try to dabble into that, right? Our passion is, we enjoy our date nights. We found that's what works for us. That's what kind of keeps the mojo going. We like trying new places. Something we always do together, we go to a new bar and we challenge the bartender, right? We've been to some bars and the bartender's attitudes are like,
Oh boy, we're dropping it. That's the first one, right?
like we're saying, like, oh, we got 4 kids. We've been working 40 plus hours a week. Like, we finally, like, brush our hair and I throw on some makeup, you put on some nice Kohans, and we're ready to go out, right?
Yeah,
and we
yeah.
get to the bar and we're excited, and
all of it.
we're there, and we tell the bartender, like, make me something. Well, what do you want?
Well,
like,
we did have one. We had one.
Yeah.
But he ended up being a really good
he
bartender,
did.
though.
But I'm getting so far off track.
Okay,
But
it's
when
cool.
we go out, right, that's
Right.
what we like. We like the vibes. We like to build that rapport with the bartender. That's kind of our thing,
Yes.
is to challenge them. And we say, hey, I like gin. We're gin drinkers, right? That's our liquor of choice. And we challenge them to make me a gin-based drink. And we kind of start the rapport from there. So when we were at this particular bar that we wanted to, I just, again, that nagging feeling was just pressing. And once my liquid courage started flowing, then the bartender was amazing, and she did great at her cocktails.
Jam up.
And I felt the need to start talking and expressing, and I don't even remember everything I said, but I literally felt like every thought that was in every part inside of my brain, I was able to get out. And the end result was, I've had this term preppy and pout on my mind for some time now, and I really want to dive into that and create a platform for the people, for my women, for the men, for the couples. Like, let's talk.
Yeah. And so for me as the husband in this situation, right? Husband, best friend, all of that.
Don't let my best friend hear that.
She can hear it. Don't worry about none of that. The best friend. But it's like, at that moment, just to be honest, you tell me to bring milk home, I might forget the milk.
Right.
Right. If if we're having a conversation about something, if you're saying something to me, I may not be paying 100% attention all the time. Let's just be honest. Let's just put it out there. This is not some crazy secret that we're letting out, right? When it comes to men. But at the end of the day, I could tell when it's different.
Yeah, the energy, I think, and
yeah,
the way that it's.
I can tell when you start to pour your feelings and your heart out. And so and I think I stood up.
You did.
I was sitting down.
Yeah, you're making me nervous.
Yeah. Well, listen, I was sitting down next to you, but then when I can tell the energy shifted, and I could tell that you were downloading all of this emotion that you've had and all these thoughts that you've had. Yeah, I felt like I had to stand up to digest it and give you that undivided attention, because to be honest, it was a brand new bar we'd never been to. The setting was great.
Beautiful.
The weather was great. So there was a lot to visually take in, all the senses, right?
Right.
But then when I could see the energy shift in you, it was like, okay, hold up. Like, this is different. Like, and we had just came from an appointment. There was a lot of things that led up to how we got to that location, right? And we could talk about that at another time, but there was a reason why we were there when we were there. It wasn't a weekend. Like, it was, you know what I mean? So yeah, it was like, okay, hold up. Like, this isn't just bring home the milk. This isn't just, did you take the meat out of the freezer? Like, this has been on my mind. I need to talk to you about it. And this is how I've been feeling. So I think that's what really grasped my attention as a husband, to be like, okay, what is
this
going on?
This is for real.
Well, not saying it's ever for fake, but I'm just saying it's different though. You know what I mean? That connection is different. It's like disconnecting the Wi-Fi and we're hardwired with the Ethernet cable now. Like that's how it was for me. We're tethered now, and you needed to get that off your chest, and I needed you to download all of that.
Agree. And I think too, I'm not a huge public speaker type of person, as you can tell. I'm not rehearsed at this at all. But I feel like with age and with life experiences, sometimes you're just drawn to share. And whether one person hears it or 1 million people hear it, I am a strong believer it only takes one person to hear something to move them, right? Like, and it's so broad for people to go straight to the internet, even though I'm a person who still writes everything down on pen and paper at work, at home, whatever. I'm a pen and paper type of gal, but I do use the internet myself. If I want to look up a restaurant, a drink, a medical condition, a house, the color of paint, like there's no way to do anything without using your phone, the internet, as far as research. So it was just a driver, one, to challenge, right? To challenge myself and us to get out of our comfort zone. Why not move with the times, right? I preach that at work all the time. Like, when I'm hiring people, if you want to work at my establishment, like you have to be okay with change. At my job, we change very fast. And I feel like I have to live by that as well. And we got to keep up the times with these kids. They move very fast.
These kids are buck wild.
Teach us new terms and internet and this and that. And yeah, they do. But it was just a huge challenge. And I feel like it was something that we jumped into, where sometimes I may have a decision or something I want to do. You may have something, and we kind of pedal in it, right? Like, oh, maybe, and talk about this or that. But this was so strong of, hey, like, this preppy and pout was like pounding into my head. Every waking moment, it was just like, that's all I could say is like preppy and pout. Like, it's so catchy. I really like that. Like, I want to talk about this. And here we are. You bought mics. You got us hooked up with the board, cameras. I mean, I
even hired us a producer.
We got a producer. You jumped on it, and even though I had the idea, I probably would have still just been sitting back with the idea, because I'm not good at doing all this type of stuff. But
and I think that's kind of what makes us the perfect pair, right? You got to balance each other out. But not just that. There were some things that led up to it that it just made sense.
Yeah.
Right. It just made sense at the time. There were some things with school. There were some things with health, and this was speaking to you, right? And you supported me in so many things in life, right? Just to give you some flowers, honestly, you supported me for years. I'm talking through apprenticeships, through different business ventures, through multiple cars. We're not going to talk. Careful, hey.
You got the producer laughing on that one.
The producer's about to get a pink slip. Keep it up. But no, honestly though, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, if I come home and my eyes light up, and listen, we came home from a race, and I found a car that I felt like I had to have. And within weeks was on the road to Detroit to go get it. And were you arguing with me to stop me, to fight me? No, we figured out a way to make it work. So it's one of those things where it's like when we plug that Ethernet cable up and we're tethered,
Time to go.
why wouldn't I give you all the support I possibly can? Right? 100% of support. And yes, we have other things going on. We both have full-time jobs. We're both licensed professionals in our field as well. And we're not even saying that we're going to stop doing that.
No.
But there was a lift and shift that happened.
Agreed.
And respectfully, as my wife, my partner in crime, my best friend, as I am yours, we have to 110 put ourselves into it together.
Agree.
And to this day, to this point, until we got to Prepping and Pout, besides what we've done to just build our families and ourselves, I can't think of anything business-wise that we both jumped into 110%.
I agree. And we've both dabbled in, we've always kept our career jobs, right, as our breadwinners, but we've both dabbled in different industries to see like what we like, but it's never been something that we jointly have the same amount of effort put into something. And I think this is it. It seems like it's legit.
100%.
Whether it's just giving us an hour a day to talk to each other and a mic,
Yeah.
it's a good platform.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and that's the thing. We talk to each other a lot during the day. We have our normal scheduled time that we talk to each other, right? In the morning and on the way home. But again, it was something that it was like, okay, we've talked about business ventures. We've talked about, eventually open up our own bar locally or brunch spot or where we do coffee, things like that, things that we like to
Good coffee.
enjoy whenever we go out into town, right? But the business and the financial literacy that we have together, it was a little bit different, only because you were going after your school degree and things like that. And I had more availability to be able to get on calls and do certain things and take care of clients and in that nature. But at the end of the day, when it came down to, okay, this is it. Like, I really feel strong about this. Like, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Full speed ahead. So I feel like that one lunch was already Prepping and Pout in itself.
Yeah.
Right or wrong?
And then it's like the more you think about that, a lot of situations throughout your daily life, overall in life, like Prepping and Pout. And again, everyone's interpretation is
It's
different.
I got polo socks on. That's preppy. It don't get much more preppy than that.
Yes, we know. But again, everyone's interpretation is different. Preppy is not even a word that I use often.
It's not.
It's just not. But the concept is there, right?
100%.
And it's just
100%.
when I try to talk myself into a different name, I just kept going back to Preppy and Pout because that is what resonated with me. That is what was catchy. And I was like, okay, Starbucks, they don't have stars hanging from the ceiling and bucks like deer hanging everywhere, but you still know Starbucks. It's catchy. It doesn't have to be like literal definition of what the word means.
No, 100%. Listen, when Riz came out,
Oh gosh, babe, we are not in that generation.
But we're not. I still don't even understand what it fully means. But I feel the same way when it comes to preppy and pout. Whatever Riz means, I don't understand when a guy's got Riz. I don't understand how it works or what that means. But the producer, she doesn't even understand what's going on over here. But it's the same for preppy and pout. Like, I feel like if I see somebody in a car losing their because somebody will not get out of their way, they're laying on the horn, like, yo, that's pout.
They're pouting.
That's pout right there. Like, you got a lot of pout going on right now. I'm gonna need you to bring it down a little bit. You understand what I'm saying? But when we were in Virginia, my man was riding a bicycle,
full suit,
with a full suit and a satchel. Was it like a
purse?
A man purse. It was more like an urban briefcase.
I mean,
but
a purse.
Full blown suit, riding a bicycle. Right? Mad prep.
That's prep.
Mad prep.
That's prep.
Even though on the flip side, I'm thinking when he gets to work, he's gonna be sweaty as shit. He's gonna be soaking wet.
I want about that.
I want to know what it looks like when he gets to the office and what he's gonna do.
When we looked at him, we were like, "Wow, full 3-piece suit, riding a bicycle,
blue, red tie, like probably had a vest on underneath it with a white shirt, getting it on a bicycle, getting to work."
That's prep.
Mad prep. Mad prep.
Agree. So again, open for interpretation. 100%. How people want to take it, but an open platform. Let's talk about the preppy things, the good things, the nice things we see, and then at the same point, let's pout. Let's pout. So my next episode, I'm gonna pout. I know it's preppy and pout, but I'm gonna intro it with a little pout that women can relate to, and talk about a little pout, and then we can spin it to some prep.
Check this out. Before we wrap it up, let me ask you a question. And I've asked you this question, so you probably already got your answer.
I don't know.
Premeditated. But check this out. If Preppy and Pout was a person, which one are you? Are you Preppy or are you Pout as a person?
Man, why do you got to do that? I'm going to be honest, I'm a Pout.
You know I got to.
I like to pout first because I like to get off of my chest what I need to say and pout. But then my anxiety kicks in and then I feel bad for pouting about something. So then I turn it into prep and I enjoy prep. But if you were to ask me on the spot right now, I would say pout.
So your prep is like a fail-safe.
To my pout.
Man.
But I enjoy my prep too.
No, yeah, of course. We talked about what prep is in life and things that we do to be prep, right?
But I'm gonna keep it real.
It's nothing.
That's why what you got. With the prep had to come a pout because I want to pout.
Right.
That's why you just said I'm gonna open the next episode with the pout.
That's fine.
I'm gonna go.
Pout.
Okay.
Do it. Put it out there. You bring the pout. I bring the pep because I'm a pep type of person. I like to be
prep.
I like to be prep. That's what I said. Prep.
You said pep.
No, I didn't say pep. I said prep.
We're gonna run that back.
It's the P's and the T's and do with the. I said prep. But no, I like to keep good energy going, man.
Yeah.
I like to stay positive as much as possible. I'm not a David Downer. You know what I mean?
Debbie Downer.
I'm not Debbie, definitely.
The term is Debbie Downer.
Yeah, I know, but honestly, I get it, right? And I think that's what makes us
balance.
Two peas in a pod, you and I. So to wrap it all up, pout next episode.
Episode 2, I feel like we have a lot of layers to pull back. We've hit high level of some things we're saying that we need to dive into a little more for a little more explanation. But I think I am going to, you mentioned like attending some medical appointments and kind of what drove me to make this final decision at that nagging phrase that kept popping up in my head. So I think I'm going to dive in and dabble to that medical situation that I guarantee you the majority of women deal with.
Yeah. And I think that's the underlying conversation that needs to be had. Like that's what's really going to resonate with what we've got going on, the awareness to certain things like that. And listen, I'm here to support that whole pout and let you get your pout out, because it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna bring some prep.
Yeah, prep. You see, you said it again. Pep. It's prep.
It's the prep.
It's the R. You gotta pronounce R.
Coffee and melatonin. I feel like that's something we can talk about too.
Okay.
That's gonna be my prep. I'm a prep for the prep.
We talked a lot about coffee.
We did. I
But
feel like
as parents, you do have to have that melly at night too.
you have to get the upper and the downer.
Yeah.
Upper in the morning, downer at night.
That's
But
episode 1. That kind of wraps up, like you keep saying, the genesis, the preppy and pout, right? What to expect.
Yep.
What we are going to unpack and uncover these next few episodes. So our next episode is going to be dropping on Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern time.
Oh yeah, and listen, stay tuned, because she's got a lot of pout she wants to let out, and this is some heavy stuff. So be prepared. But listen, we're not just gonna be pouting; we're gonna be prepping as well.
Yes.
Right? So stay tuned for the coffee we're gonna have this week, the melatonin we might indulge in. We can't wait to see you guys
Thank
later.
you.